Welcome to Frame by Frame, where we dive deep into the world of photography and videography, exploring stories, tips, and techniques from world-renowned photographers and videographers from all over the world. Join us as we uncover the magic behind the lens with our creatives. So today, we are going to be chatting to an amazing creative. We've had some amazing people on the show already. My name is Stephen Segal. I'm a content creator as well as a creative artist, if I can put it that way. Today, I've got on the hot seat and at this hour, an amazing creator. He's an international master photographer in creative portraiture. He's none other than Faisal himself. How are you, sir?
Hi. Nice to meet you, sir.
Great to see you. What's happening? What's news?
All okay. I'm glad to be here with you guys and to enjoy this event. Yeah, and looking forward to see lots of creativity.
Absolutely. Well, those of you that are wondering, we are here at the Exposure Expo in Sharjah. Nikon's got a stand here. If you are in the area and would like to come and join us, we've got live workshops for free. We've got a shooting booth. We actually got a couple of shooting booths showing what the cameras can do on both photography as well as videography. So if you're in the area, come check out the Nikon stand. Anyway, getting back into it, let's chat, sir.
Yes.
Tell me, where did your love for photography start and come about?
Well, so before doing photography, I was baking cakes, yeah, and it started that I wanted to take photos of my expensive cakes, but then I used to use my phone, and seeing my photographer's friend who shot really amazing cheap cupcakes, yeah, and that was, it took my breath, and I thought, you know what, I need to learn about photography, you know, to market more on my cakes and in my business. And that's how the whole story of photography started. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now tell me, going from that, where did you start with your, obviously, what was your first Nikon camera?
My first Nikon camera was a D5200. Yeah, this was a crop frame. So when I bought that, I thought, no, just expensive camera for only cake. I wanted to explore more the possibilities, so I started to go out for camping trips, travel with friends, and I entered to landscape photography actually. Learned about different lenses and wildlife and bird shooting, and then I thought, everyone else is doing the same thing, and I have a habit of wanting to be a unique individual. So I started to look into portrait, and my first trip was to Philippines, where variety of artists are there, and it captured me to see how the whole production comes together. The model, the makeup artist, the designer, and how the photographer, all of them work together to create a masterpiece, not an image. I have never seen an out of an image, which normally you see it, but it was a masterpiece. So I thought, you know what, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
I love it, and that spark just started, and you carried on from there.
Yes.
Unbelievable. So do you remember your first portrait that you shot?
My first portrait was, it was a theme, on a Gothic theme, and we had a model called Paula. Until today, every time I travel, I just have to shoot with her just to remember where I started, and yeah, so that was my first, and the first shoot was amazing, yeah, and from there I started to learn more. I actually started to join different groups in Facebook, and I joined the Master Photographer International in UK, where I wanted to be, that level of mastery.
Yeah.
It was not easy, but then I really had time to learn, but I learned details, and which now currently I'm teaching people all those small details that sometimes it goes away, and then you lose focus when you do awards and all that. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just amazing how you started D5200, you said.
Yes.
And a lot of people think that the equipment restricts them from making it great, but I mean, you started with D5200.
Exactly. Most of my images that I sold was from that camera.
That's
the only reason I moved to full frame.
Yeah.
Was when I was in a workshop with my mentor, and the settings to do with sharpness and calibration. There are a lot of things that you cannot do it with crop frame, that's the only reason I had to move to full frame. But yeah, it's all about the photographer.
Absolutely, and I mean that's the thing. The creative edge is where you really feel. So now, tell me through that. I want to know a little bit more about your creative process with regards to it. So when you're looking at your a shoot, do you approach it? Do you design everything in your mind and you put it on paper and then you create, or how does your creative process?
So my creative process starts with what do I want to do, and actually most of my images talks about me in a way. So depending on that month or that year or an experience I'm going through, or a friend going through the experience, then I pick up that emotion and I start to look into how I'm gonna deliver it to people. How am I gonna showcase it to others? So my process, I have a thinking process, creative thinking process, where it starts with what I want to show people, and then I search. I use Pinterest, I use Google, and now AI is there, which makes it much easier. So I use that, and it gives me ideas on what I should expect as an output. Yeah. From there, I start to create a mood board. Yeah, and then I deconstruct the mood board where I know which type of model I need, which type of makeup I need to put, the lighting, the background, the location, everything comes from the mood board. And from that, I start to contact my resources, and then we do the shoot. Even the post-processing in terms of colors, in terms of edit, I get it from the mood.
I absolutely love your creative process. And those of you that are out there, go and have a look at Faisal's Instagram site and his socials. You're going to absolutely see it's phenomenal. We're most probably going to post it somewhere in the comments so that you can have a look. And if you are enjoying this and would like to see more of these podcasts, make sure you comment and like if you don't mind. That would be great. But now, tell me, getting back into it, I see when you're shooting, you love to use different textures and a lot of colors, and emotion is a big role that I noticed that in your photography and when we've talked. Tell me a little bit how important emotion is with regards to your photography, and then obviously when you start adding in fabrics and you start adding colors and texture.
So photography is not only, I mean, just a snap of an image. Yeah, it's all about invoking emotion. Yeah, capturing feelings, stories, and moment. Yeah. In time. So we as photographers, we have a very unique opportunity, yeah, through our lens to capture that feeling, yeah, and to deliver it to viewers. Yeah? So it's very important for us to understand how we capture those feelings and how we give it to others. So the techniques of capturing through colors, through composition, even through other means, that deliver that emotion. Yeah. So you have that emotion. Then now what we do is we add motion to the image to give it dynamic and energy. Yeah. So yes, it is a still image, but with a life. Yeah. And that's how we add fabrics, we add colors, and all that. All those works together to give us a dynamic and a live photo in still image.
Love it. How important is the relationship between the photographer and the model? Because a lot of times I've seen photographers work with models and they just expect them to just glow, and if they don't do their job,
So
tell me that.
It's a bond between a model and photographer. You don't only go and don't treat models like a product. They are not product. They are human beings. Before a photo shoot, you need to sit with them, discuss with them, show them your abilities, show them, gain their trust so that they can listen to you during the photo shoot. Show them that you know what you're doing. Show them that this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm expecting from you. Yeah, and then you do the shoots. Some people, would like from models to do things which themselves they cannot do it. You need to take that in consideration. Safety is first. Yeah. So all that, when it comes together, she is your partner. She is not your, worker. Yeah, she's your partner in creating that masterpiece.
Oh, I absolutely love what you say because it's such a critical. I'm also obviously into portraits and stuff, and I really, you can see that through your imagery and especially your images, how you get that intensity and how you. A photograph is not just, like you said, it's a pretty picture. There's so much more that goes into it. And I think a lot of the time people must realize that it's actually an art form. It's not
Yes.
just snap and go. There's so much
Exactly.
that's gone into it, and especially in your images. I mean, the depth. I've been looking at some of your behind the scenes imagery and how you go into it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So I love what you're doing.
Thank
It's,
you
it's
very much.
absolutely beautiful.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask you, with your favorite image of all time, what is it and why?
My favorite image is the image that I captured an old guy. And why? It's a mystery. When you look into that image, you don't understand the feeling. It's a bit creepy, but the depth in that image,
Yeah,
the situation in the image, and how it takes you into the image,
yeah,
you don't understand why,
yeah.
but you just fall in love with that image.
Oh,
Yeah. So that is one of the images that I always, even in my posters, when I do workshops, I always keep that image there.
really?
Yeah.
So now tell me, on your social media, do you have image? You've got that image in there?
Yes, it is in my.
Give them your social media handle so they can go and have a look at your
Yes,
Instagram.
you can go to FAI photograph, yeah, and that's my Instagram account.
Awesome. So go and have a look at that. Those of you that have just joined us, we are on the podcast called Frame by Frame by Nikon. Absolutely great initiative. We are here at the Sharjah Expo. It is the Exposure Expo right here in Sharjah. Nikon's got a stand here. We're doing trainings. We've got a demo booth. We've got a couple of demo booths testing out photos, videos, testing out the new Nikon Z8s and Z9s. We've got Z50s. Nikon's full ranges here. It's absolutely. You had an amazing talk this
Yes,
morning
yes.
as well. We're with Faisal here, a creative international master photographer and in the creative portraiture space. So getting back into your creative portraiture, I wanted to check your gear that you currently work with. What is it, if you don't mind sharing?
Currently, I have two. I use Z850 and Z8.
Oh,
It's coming. It's there. It's arriving. Yeah. So Z8. The reason I selected Z8, first of all, it's mirrorless. The features that it has very the autofocus and the depth of the colors that it captured and the details are really amazing. Yeah. I was hesitated to move, but then when I saw the features, no, that's the camera to go for.
I love that Z8. Like ever since, I mean, it was D850, absolutely. When
Yes.
D850 came out, I was blown away. Then Z6 II, loving that camera. That's another fun. But Z8 is just.
That is another beast.
I absolutely love it. Okay, your lenses. Tell me about your lens lineup. What do you have?
I have 2470, 85, yeah, because I'm doing portrait. But my lens to go is always 2470 2.8.
I love it. I love it. Because what's interesting is we had Mike on earlier, and it's the same with me. My lens that I cannot go with, if they said you got one lens to choose out of everything, and I mean, I've been on 85 mils and various different ones. The 2470, ladies and gents, is absolutely phenomenal. Combined with the Z8
Yes,
is
yes,
just
exactly.
deadly. Okay, so with regards to, have you ever tried wide angle lenses? Like really wide, like 14, 24s?
Yes,
and stuff?
I actually use that for fashion.
Okay.
Yeah. So the wide lens are very good when you want abstract look.
Yeah.
Especially fashionable look.
Got
where
it.
you have like big feet and then goes into the.
Yeah.
So I definitely use wide angle for those for portrait. Yeah.
Understood that.
Because some people they're restricted. No, I don't for portrait. I'm just using this lens. But no, every lens has its own beauty.
Absolutely.
So definitely explore everything. Yeah.
Love it. Now, you obviously, those of you that are out there and that obviously would like to touch base with you and learn a little bit, you do workshops, am I right?
Yes, I do workshops in Oman, and most of the time I'm around, traveling around. So yeah, always check my page for the latest workshops. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's nice is obviously Nikon's got Nikon School, so those of you that are out there that are looking at learning and growing and obviously growing your creative side and absolutely getting involved with doing things with Faisal, have a look there as well. Tell me, tips for photographers out there to get in. We're going to start with the basic tips.
Yes.
Starting out in photography, what tips do you have? And then we're going to talk about advanced after this.
Well, for photographers, I think passion. They should be passionate at photography, yeah, because once you have that passion, then everything else comes in place. And then you need to learn your basics. It's always important to know the exposure triangle, different type of light, soft light, hard light, all those small details. It might not be that important, but really in a photo shoot, especially if you travel, especially if you do, we don't get the chance to have the same model or the same subject every time. You have only that time. You need to know all this so that you get the best out of it. Yeah?
Absolutely. And those photographers out there now on the more advanced on the professional side, how do you push your photography to the next level and become a professional?
Well, now that always into competitions. So there are different type of competition, but there are other competition which gives you feedback. Those are the competition you need to be in, because those feedbacks might be, yes, small, but it's really valuable, because then it takes you from where you are today and push you to the next level. And also joining communities like master photographers, professional photographers, who really critiques each other's work and help each other to grow. Yeah. So those two things you need to have in your baggage, yeah, to elevate.
I love it. It's so true. I mean, that feedback is critical with regards to your work and growing and pushing through. And I love what you were saying about passion. Passion really, really drives it, no matter where you're on stuff. So now I wanted to ask you, how do you keep being creative? Because sometimes you go through those times, and I'm sure some of you having it where you go.
I've been there.
And tell me, how did you get through?
I've been there. So I even reached to a level to close out my studio at a point of time.
Wow.
But then I had a friend who always pushing me, yeah. And again, traveling, I've seen others how they create again, and it just took me back to where I was, yeah, and remind me of the message that we give as photographers. We're not actually only photographers, but we are people of message. We give hope to people. Especially with what happened, pandemic and all that, people were looking for hope. So I came back, yeah, and my images were talking about that, pain, hope, and the future, So that brought me back, yeah.
That's unreal. I mean, like you were saying, again, we're not just photographers. We don't just take pictures. It's about the stories that we tell, and we're capturing moments in time, which is absolutely important with regards to telling the story. I wanted to check, have you done some videography work?
Well, I tried, but not yet. I'm still learning. I do small reels, but definitely there's a window, yeah, to explore.
Absolutely. It's so interesting because a lot of us, I mean, I was also photography moved into videography, and videography is now just taken over my life pretty much. But it's just interesting the what's it called, transition. But again, a creative is a creative, and you've got the creative side that's just unbelievable. So tell me, from a point of view, your next project, can you give us some secrets into what you're going to be shooting next?
Well, I got some good dress from my friend Don Cristobal. He's a very well-known designer.
Okay.
And definitely I'm gonna do some magical work with it in Masterpiece. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned for it.
I absolutely love it. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you before we move on to another range of questions is, when you're teaching, like, let me change that question. What I wanted to know, a lot of people that go out there as photographers think they know everything with regards to it. How important is it to humble yourself and ask questions and learn?
Yes, because, so the moment, this is how it goes. The moment you think you know, the door of learning is closed. And you will stay where you are, and you will never grow. Others, your peers will thrive and be in a very high position. The skill level will be very high, and you will just be where you are with whatever knowledge you have. Yeah. So always be humble, accept learning. Yeah. Even if you learn one word, even if you're learning one technique, that will change how you shoot. That will change how you do. In many of my workshops, I see people come there, and they are shy because they think if I ask, I'll look stupid. But what I do is that I try to open up. I try to bring them all down to earth so that they are all of them in the same level, yeah, and share. I'm not teaching, I'm sharing my knowledge. So please, if you don't understand, let me know, because what I do is different and my technique is different. So probably you know how to do photography, but the techniques is different. So then they open up, okay, how do you do this? How to do this? And that's my door on teaching them.
Absolutely love it. On the creative side, talking about the way you teach and stuff, and I love it that you're imparting so much knowledge, because I do believe that when you give out knowledge, knowledge comes back to you, and that's critical with regards to it. And I love that you're doing that. But do you sometimes find that to keep being creative, do you shoot other things other than creative portraiture now?
Yes.
Or do you just stick?
So creative portrait is my main, a strong subject.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do weddings. I do food photography. I actually do something which probably people don't know about. I do something called therapeutic photography.
Okay, yeah.
It's healing with camera. So taking people with self-confidence and issues through photography, they see themselves transforming from where they are into where they want to be. Yeah. So I'm taking them from down pit to high level, where they want to be, and dream to be. Yeah. Through photography.
I absolutely love that. That must be so enriching to your soul. That is
exactly.
Unbelievable. So now I wanted to ask you, from a point of view, I just want to step back because I think there's some questions with regards to that. And if any of you have got questions, feel free to write it in the comments. Faisal will most probably have a look at the site and be able to get back to you. And if you're enjoying this, please give us some likes so that we know we keep going and keep this going. With regards to, again, I know I asked you for those tips, but just I want to give it one more time. If someone's out there looking to get creative, what's give me 5 steps that will get the creative juices flowing to be able to capture that?
One of the first things you have to do is to enrich your eyes. Yeah. So what I mean by that is look at other photographers, look at images around there. Yeah. Images that evoke emotion, images that gives you a feel of creativity, it's like a movie scene.
Yeah.
So those things is what it does is it captures you, and makes you feel, why can't I do that? Why can't I? How he did it? I definitely can do that.
Yeah.
So those are the things which give you. So the more images you see, you enrich your mind. Yeah. And then you can begin from there. Basically.
Okay. Yeah? So enriching your mind with regards to it. Then once I've got that, I mean, the challenge I think a lot of people think is creative portraiture. You have to have so much involved. What's your typical lighting setup from that?
So okay. Let me go back again.
Yeah, go for it.
Right. So one, you get the idea. Second thing, what you need to do is you get the fabrics. The whole, again, for me, the whole process is enjoyable and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about having fun. So I start by the idea. I go to the market, look for fabrics. I work with designers. The makeup also. I've learned makeup because I need to do retouch. Yeah. So I had to go and learn makeup actually from a makeup artist, and that helped me. Even when I work with the makeup artist, I understand how they work and how to adjust stuff, and then put all this together. The lighting. Now they call me Mr. Light because I use my signature lights are six light. People do less, but for me, my biggest images I use 6 lights. But then I draw with lights. Yeah. Photography is all about drawing with light. Yeah. So I draw my images. Most of my images you see is like painting. Yeah. And the way I do is my signature light is Rembrandt. Yeah. Rembrandt style. And then more shadows. I love shadows. Yeah. So most of my images is dark. I'm not a dark person, but I love shadows. Yeah. And actually, where there is shadow, there is light. So the lights in the images that I put in pop up the images, and give some real contrast to the images, which people love to see.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Are you still on flash photography, like as in studio flash or constant lighting? Have you started touching on that?
I use. I'm also certified in studio lighting.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love lighting because the studio light, I can control the light
Yeah.
using grids. So I use a lot of grids
Okay.
to specifically light location or items, or body parts. With the continuous light, I did use continuous, but strobes are my thing to go. Yeah.
Love it, absolutely. Tell me, from a post-production point of view, how long do you spend on an image?
It depends. So some images, nowadays, because I perfected my light technique, light techniques.
Yeah.
So it takes me maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours maximum.
Okay.
Yeah. But I used to spend like 10 hours
Yeah.
in one image. So that image that I sold that I love, it took me 10 hours to do it.
Wow, that is brilliant. Though. But I mean, 10 hours down to 3 hours, that's absolutely phenomenal. And it just shows that a lot of the people think that images just happen. There's a lot of creative. What are you, and have you ever used composites? Have you ever done composite photography where you obviously...
I've tried it,
Yeah.
but because the nature or the category that I always enter in my competition,
Yeah.
portrait. Yeah, the composite goes to a digital art category.
Yeah.
So I've done some, but my category always is a portrait. Yeah.
Love
So
it.
most of my images actually, it's not composite. I buy the background.
I see that.
I print the background. I put the probes around. Yeah. So I try to make everything in one image.
Yeah.
And
Love
away
it.
from digital
Editing.
backgrounds and all that.
Love that.
And actually, my edit. So Photoshop I use only 20%. in my
Wow,
images.
that's
Although
amazing.
I take time,
Yeah.
but it's only 20%. Most of the image comes out of the camera, ready to go. Yeah.
Love it. I love that. Those of you that are obviously seeing his images, and I think it's a lost art to a certain degree, is that we always, the people shoot and then they're going to be a Photoshop photographer. Get it right in camera as best you can.
Exactly.
It's more efficient. I mean, if you're taking it as a business, you need to be as efficient as possible. Thank you so much for your time. I see we have
Thank
to
you very
wrap
much.
up.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and thank you for hosting me today.
Oh, absolutely love it. Love your work, and it's such a great. You know what I love about the guests that we have, especially you. It's so humble. The thing is that there's no arrogance with regards to it. You're an amazing person, and
Thank you
it's
very
such
much.
an honor to have you on
Thank you
here.
very much. It's
So
my
just to
honor.
sum up with regards to this, Faisal obviously came through and he was chatting to us about creative portraiture. He's an international master photographer, and his thing, he started off with a D5200, moved up, and now shooting Z8 up amongst other cameras, but Z8 2470 is his combo of choice. Absolutely love those cameras. And then obviously passion is what he's talking about. It's about pushing through and having the passion in what you do and how you do it, and make sure you find that passion in your photography. Never give up and keep pushing through. So there's amazing messages that are coming out, obviously, from these international photographers, leaders in their class. So if any of you have questions online that want to ask it, send it through. I'm going to have a look, and hopefully we can ask it in the next couple coming up episodes. We've got one more photographer that we're going to be chatting to, or one more creative that we're going to be chatting to today. We've got 3 tomorrow, and every day we've got pretty much 3 creatives that are going to be coming up on Frame by Frame. So make sure you keep watching. For those of you that have been watching, this is Frame by Frame by Nikon. It's absolutely phenomenal initiative. We hope you've learned something. We hope you've given something fresh to look at and to move forward with. Stay and be creative. And thank you for joining us here on Frame by Frame.